already, I am going to share this link in School. New live link. Cool. All right, we got somebody on. So I had a massive issue with the live streaming platform I was trying to use. So we should be good now. That's one good reason not to just throw in new tech when you haven't actually tried it yet. So live and learn. Cool. How's it going? Jamie, good to see you. Hey, how's it been with the copywriting? What are you up to these days, Jamie? Yeah, no one's here in nature. We just started. Everyone's on the other link, I think. I'm curious to hear how everything has been going with the copyright. I think we spoke first in the fall, Jamie, and then we touched base again like a month ago. Sweet. Is it a marketing agency? I always find it interesting, like marketing agencies when they have ghostwriters. Like a lot of the time, it's a very normal thing. But it's funny because it's like, that's what they do, and then I guess they hire their own team to do it for them. But it's such good experience too, because that's like effectively writing for what it is that you're doing. So you're like basically just improving your ability to market yourself as well. So that's really cool. I have no idea who the person with the username yes is, but Patricia. My name is actually Patrice, but everyone calls me Patricia. So. Top tips for someone trying to build and launch a copywriting agency. That's a good question. Well, one thing, and I'll answer your question in a second, but one thing you should think about is like if that's really what you want is a copywriting agency, because it's an interesting business model. It's like a really interesting business to be in because there's a lot of demand on your time, right? Like it's basically you're working full time. And I say that because that's literally what I was doing. Like I at one point was like outsourcing a lot. And so that's effectively an agency when you're outsourcing all of the delivery and you're managing the acquisition and the content and stuff, but like you're outsourcing a lot of the delivery so you can bring on more clients and you're just scaling by scaling your clients. So yeah, it's like I would say for a copywriting agency, it's probably easiest to get to 10K doing it on your own. Then you have to kind of like think about scaling your prices or scaling the people that are doing delivery. Really, really tough when you're trying to do that at like 30K a month because you sacrifice a lot of the profit margin to those people that are doing the done for you and for your clients. And so you have to spend still a lot of your time quality checking all of their work. So you kind of don't feel like it's worth it. That's like the dilemma I had was like, I was like spending so much time quality checking the people that are working for me's work to make sure it's actually good enough to send to my clients. And yeah, like, and so I'm still spending all this time and I'm spending all this money to pay them. But I think once you get like above 6 figures a month, it probably becomes a lot more systematized. And so at that point, it's probably a little bit better because I know people that have like scaled to $500,000 a month with copywriting agents, or not even copywriting specifically, but just marketing agencies. And that's when I think it becomes like a little bit more it's just a better flow, more systematized. So to actually start a copywriting agency, you want to start by like getting to 10K yourself first. Make sure you're an authority in that space, like you're really good with copy, because you can't really outsource it until you know what the heck it is you're doing. So assuming you've written a lot of copy for real life people, And by real life people, I mean like don't just go write random copy about a random product that doesn't even exist. Go find an actual person with an actual product, write copy for them. Whether you send it to them, whether you don't, doesn't really matter. That's how you're going to get better. Start to sign some clients, and I would say scale your prices as you get them results. So make sure as you're getting these clients, you're getting testimonials so you have the credibility to actually raise your prices, because people are like, they're hearing about you from this client, or maybe they hear about this client making a bunch of money on a webinar or with ads or whatever. Like that's what I had back in like the fall. I had a bunch of just word of mouth marketing because I helped like in a span of like 2 or 3 months, I had like 4 communities I helped win the games. And so they would get on a podcast, they would get on a live stream, whatever, and people would ask them, oh, how'd you do XYZ webinars or XYZ emails? And they would mention my name. And so that's what you want to optimize for. You want to optimize for like getting really good results for the clients you have. And then like scaling with that, scale your pricing. It's way easier to scale your pricing than to like scale the amount of clients you work with. And you will get paid more to work with better people to get better results without like spending more time in it. Because also like copywriting becomes something it's so quick. Like you don't spend a lot of time writing an email after you've been doing it for a while. So like I write some of my best emails in like 20 minutes. Other times it's like, hours of research, but like the actual writing part of the email, it's like gets faster and faster the more you do it. So hopefully that helps. Trying to be a full stack email marketer. Really good thing to learn if you want to be a full stack email marketer is like the data that you need to be aware of. And like a lot of email marketing comes down to like knowing the back end of a CRM. So like I spent a lot of time in the winter, especially, and like a little bit last fall, learning how to build automations, learning the different frequencies and like how to, properly promote a webinar, how to properly follow up with people after a webinar. Like all those things require automations. They require your email domain to be good. So you have to know how to do that. You have to know how to like just track the email metrics, make sure that you're not sending emails to spam and damaging the domain. So if you want to be a full stack email marketer, bring some of those skills to the tables, because you can just charge more. And yeah, like I think email copywriting is probably one of the most fun types of copywriting. It's also the one that like everybody does. So, but there's a reason for that. Like it's something that everyone needs as well. So yeah, that's what I would say for that. And email copywriting is so different for different niches. Like e-commerce marketing, you're using a lot of pictures. Like the emails look like ads, and it's very different than like if you're writing emails for an info product. An info product is going to be almost completely text-based emails. Maybe you have a picture if you're doing a case study, but like generally those emails also perform better. They land in spam and promo less because they don't have all of these images that Google can flag. So it depends what kind of email marketer you want to be, but I would not recommend becoming an email marketer for every single niche. Looking at Jamie's comment, he sells a course on how to scale marketing agencies. That's so cool. That's so cool, because it's like you're ghostwriting for a marketer that's marketing to marketers. So you're getting like a bird's eye view. Is that something you want to do at some point, Jamie? Like have a marketing agency or potentially work with marketing agencies? Focus on a landing page or just have conversations? Yeah. So you mean by I'm guessing this is a question about finding leads, finding clients. I didn't have a landing page until like a month ago for clients. I had landing pages when I was a coach, when I was coaching copywriting. I don't do that anymore. So I had a landing page that I used for that, but I stopped using that when I pivoted to like just working with like done for you clients. So now I don't do any coaching. It's just one offer, which is done for you copywriting. And for that, I've just started like using a landing page, which you guys can see like in my recent YouTube video. I actually like used it for the first time in that one. And it's pretty cool. Like I'm getting calls booked for people that want to be high ticket clients, which is really, really cool, really exciting. But yeah, I would say for a beginner copywriter, it's just like a waste of time. Like you don't need to build a landing page. Most of the time your clients don't even have time to read it. Like and also, where are they going to find that? Like, is it something you're going to send to them in email outreach? Like, it's just, there's not really a place for it unless you're creating a ton of YouTube content and you're like going viral, then maybe like to get calls booked. But honestly, the easiest thing is just like go where the people are at. Like, if you're writing copy for marketers, like Jamie is, then you should be going to marketing events and talking to them in person. Or if you're writing copy for AI agencies, go to AI events. There's so many events like for different niches in business. The best place you will meet people is either on like live calls or live events. Because take this with a grain of salt, because like my goals may be different than yours, but my goal is not to be a copywriter for my entire life. My goal, I'm not even really like I'm a copywriter now, but I'm doing a lot more than copywriting. And I intentionally made sure that I was learning skills that work really well with copywriting. So I can also help people with graphic design. I can help them design the creatives for their ads. I can help like build the sales page and, you know, create all the integrations and the automations behind the scenes. Like, you want to make sure you have some of those skills, like, so that you are basically eliminating the need for a business to hire a bunch of people to come together and like kind of glue all these different agencies together. Like, that's such chaos for a business owner, and your job is to make their life easier. So yeah, I don't even know how I got on that tangent, but I would recommend get in person to find these clients. One thing I did that worked really well. Hey Shane, how's it going? One thing I did was I basically like just was running a podcast, and this was before I was a copywriter. I was running a podcast that the only intention of it was to just like share stories, and to my end goal is still the same. Is like I want to like share business education and replace the college university system by just making that education like more accessible for young people specifically. So I would always kind of like come at these podcasts from the angle of like a young person. But what wound up happening was I built a network through these podcasts that was so like genuine and strong, because I never had a pitch, that when I did start copywriting, I reached back out to all of these people that were like previous podcast guests. And I was like, hey, just started this thing, brand new at it, but I've got really good results. And I would like list a couple things I'd done, like email open rates for this. Would love to write a couple free emails if you know anyone who needs a copywriter. And that was very intentional, because I was not directly pitching to these people. I was asking if they knew anyone, because they were high-level entrepreneurs. I worked really hard to get like really cool entrepreneurs on my podcast. And that actually wasn't that hard because I didn't have a pitch. So got these really cool entrepreneurs on my podcast. And then basically from there, I just like asked them, you know, for people that they knew. And I would say like the reply rate was like 30%, 40%. I would say half of those people didn't need a copywriter. A quarter of those people sent me someone that did need a copywriter, and a quarter of those people were actually like, hey, I need a copywriter. So I don't know what that actually breaks down to with the amount of people, but I know I got my first like 10K worth of clients doing that. So that was pretty cool. So yeah, I would recommend like getting in person, go to events, travel, invest into your education, because like I said, like my goal is not to be a copywriter forever. So I looked at like being a good copywriter is a way for me to help solve problems for like way higher level entrepreneurs, and to basically just get closer and learn from them. Because at some point when I launch my own product, or I launch my own agency, like software, or I start doing events or whatever, I want to have those people in my corner. I want to learn from those people. I want to have like incredible relationships. And so I'm always more focused on relationship over just like a really good sale. So like actually when I have like a really big potential client, like book a call, I sometimes even lower the price for them, because I'd rather have that testimonial and work with them than like scare them away with a massive price. Because like sometimes I send out 15K, 20K proposals. I had like a 22K proposal I sent out a month ago. So like some people are just not going to respond to that, right? Your goal should be to like build enough of a connection that whatever the heck you send in that proposal is like guaranteed to close. Okay, 6-figure dance coach. Let's see what you said. How to scale one-on-one coaching consulting for dance instructors. I teach them to build their online business on Skool, 20-30K. Were we just talking on Skool? I feel like we were just talking on Skool. Maybe it wasn't you, but I think it was. So one-on-one coaching consulting for dance instructors, teaching them how to build an online business on Skool. Okay. Oh, that's so interesting. So you're teaching them how to take like a traditional in-person coaching service and bring it into the online space. That's really interesting. And helping them scale to 20-30K. Is that something like you've done? Are you teaching, or did you used to teach dance online? You did. Okay, cool. So Yeah, I mean, the easiest way is number one, like you probably have a little bit of a network. And if you don't think you have a network, you probably do. You probably have like a few people you could reach out to that are either potential leads, or if they're not potential leads, they know potential leads. So like think really hard about like if you were a dancer, like maybe like decades ago, then yeah, like just think of people, or think of people that you knew that were dancers like decades ago. Reach out to them, go through every single person you know and think of who might they know that's a dancer, or that knows a dancer, or that is a dance coach right now, and like go through that warm list of people first. Try and like frame it like you're starting off. You've had a lot of success in this, and you've had some people ask recently if you could teach them what you did. So you launched this program, and it's in its infancy still, but you would be absolutely honored to have them as a part of it. And would they be down to jump on a call? Or you could ask if that's something that like if they're looking to scale their coaching, or if it's an in-person dancer, like have you ever thought about bringing this online? And ultimately you just want to get these people on calls. And if you're brand new and you don't have testimonials yet, I would say like maybe offer the first 5 people a discount, get those testimonials. Those are going to be really high leverage, and then get referrals from them. And like that's pretty niche as well. So make a bunch of content about it. Like, are you making YouTube content? Because that's going to be like really easy. And then like you could even launch ads, because that'll probably be such a niche audience of people that are dance coaches. Yeah, just landed an artist with 40K and have a call Monday with an artist that has 132K. Sweet. Those are followers. It's not a 40K contract, I'm assuming, unless you like that is. That's amazing. Yeah, no, make content. Like you don't need to overthink it. My YouTube videos, it's actually like embarrassing, because the first few YouTube videos, I would make them up as I went. Not that like the information wasn't true, but it just wasn't scripted. So I would be like, okay, I'm going to make a video about finding your first client. And then I would like go through, and I vividly remember the first video I ever had that got over like 2,000 views. I filmed it on my iPhone, outside, no microphone, next to a pool. There's other people walking around, and I remember getting to like, it was like the 3 steps to sign your first client or something. And I remember getting to like step number 3 and like literally having to like think about what it would be, because I like hadn't planned it in advance. So I was just like, what was the 3rd thing that I did? And I just like made it up as I went. So like that's just to say like your YouTube content does not need to be super planned out or scripted. In fact, I think people trust you more when it isn't. And like, yeah, the people that are going to buy from your YouTube content are not going to give a crap whether it's like edited or scripted or nicely packaged. It just needs to communicate the value. So if it's a dance coach, like they want to know how to make more money, how to get more students, how to maybe get their students like in competitions or better results, how to build a funnel for their dancing offer. So like make videos that teach them how to do that, and just like have a calendar link in the description. That's what I did. And I like, yeah, I did so much content. Like I was posting 3 to 4 times a week at one point. When I went for the school games, I think I was posting 6 days a week just for the few weeks. Like it was insane. But I just like fundamentally believe that like really raw, unedited content will get you just as many sales as like fancy content. So like you have to just make those awkward videos, and like know that once you're like 10, 20, 30, 40 videos in, like they're not going to feel awkward anymore. So be super niche with it. Don't make a video that's like how to build a funnel. It should be like how to build a profitable online business as a dance instructor or something, or how to build a profitable online funnel as a dancing coach, how to find dancing students online, something like that, because it's niche. So you're going to get the right audience, and the right audience is going to mean less views, but it's going to mean more clicks. So that's what you're optimizing for. But definitely work your warm leads. Like the first, well, no, actually all of my sales pretty much come from warm leads. I would say YouTube leads, like I consider them pretty warm, but like, let's call those like cold leads. They're not, but like if we're just talking about the warm network, I would say like my first 20K at least came from like my warm network. I did sign a student in May or June of last year. That was like from YouTube. That was when I had like 300 subscribers. So like you also don't need a bunch of subscribers. I still don't have a bunch of subscribers. So yeah, definitely work your warm leads. Just thinking of YouTube content, but I don't know how to do it. I feel like I'm not good enough or knowledgeable enough yet. Yeah, I agree. I actually almost stopped making YouTube content because I felt like such an imposter, and this was not even that long ago. But I was like, you're only an imposter if you claim to be an expert on something you're not an expert on. So like, if you're making content on something you've actually done, then like you're good. Just don't make content on something you haven't done. And I also am a big fan of like documenting instead of like preaching. So if you're making content and you're just like, this is how I did XYZ. So like I can make content like, this is how I made 44K for a client in 1 month. That's something I did. Good. But if I'm just like, this is how you should make 50K next month, now I feel kind of like I'm preaching. But if I just document it and I tell them the story of how I did that for a client, they can decide if that makes sense for them. And I don't necessarily need to be in that like guru kind of like role. I don't ever really want to be seen as like a guru, or I'm not a big fan of like, I honestly like, I don't think I'll ever do coaching because I'm still in that place of like, I don't want to feel like an imposter. So I'll just like share what I'm doing. I get on consulting calls with people all the time. Maybe it's just like the word choice in my head is like, I don't want to be a coach, but like I'll be a consultant. But like, I really prefer to just share what I've done. And if you think of it like the people watching your content are just like 1 or 2 steps behind you, you don't need to be an expert. You just need to be like 1 or 2 steps ahead of them and then teach them what to do to get to the place that you're at. That's it. Like, I'm not that far ahead of any of you guys. Like, I literally started copywriting. It's June. So I started copywriting 13 months ago. So like, I'm not an expert, but like I did a lot of work in that time frame to be able to like get to like 30, 40, 50K months. And like that's the only reason that I can talk to people doing 10, 15, 20K a month and be like, hey, these are the things you need to do in order to like get to the next step. But I'm not teaching people that are doing like, you know, $1 million a month how to do more than me, because like that wouldn't make sense. Then I would be an imposter. So I think it's like the imposter syndrome is literally just for people that are being imposters. So just don't be an imposter. Just teach what you know, like teach the people that are 1 step behind you. Don't try and, you know, teach experts, just teach beginners. So yeah, as a complete beginner, you should make content like the 3 steps to do XYZ, or top 5 funnels converting in this industry, or, you know, like things that maybe you can either study other people, or you can teach people something you did, or you can give them like the 3 steps you use to get to XYZ accomplishment or level or whatever. But yeah, cool. Okay. Musa. Yeah, I got a question, Patrice. How did you build discipline, getting more work done in less time without getting distracted? Yeah. I think like I just hated where I was at more than I hated the like idea of being disciplined. But like I'm not gonna pretend like I'm some like ultra disciplined person that just like works. Like I'm not like I don't have anything special over any of you guys. Like I definitely still get distracted. Like I still go and like I take my breaks and I'll go walk and, you know, get a coffee and go walk by a river, go for a run and whatever. But like it's just about like having something that's so clear in front of you that like you would rather go through the pain of the discipline than like stay where you're at. And I think as soon as you get to that point, then it's like not even there's no question. You just go and do the thing. But if the point that you're at isn't painful enough to motivate you to get to the next point, then it's gonna be really hard for you to be disciplined. That's where people use like willpower. And yeah, I would just take a look at like where will you be in 5 years if you don't do those things that you need to do. You know, like if you don't go and let's say like discipline for some people means like eating healthier. Let's say they're 50 pounds overweight. They take a look at like where they're going to be in 5 years. They're like, crap, like if I keep doing what I'm doing now, I'm going to be 500 pounds in 5 years. Don't want to be there. And so they use that fear to scare themselves into eating healthy now. Even though maybe 50 pounds overweight doesn't scare them so much, 500 pounds does. And so they're future focused on like what's the end result of not taking action versus taking action. And I think you got to fall in love with the process. It's really hard to be disciplined when you're just looking at a goal. Like if your goal is 10K, it's really hard to just like work 10 hours to get to 10K. Your goal has to be to just work 10 hours. Like your goal has to be the work, not the result of the work. And that's like a very slight tweak in your mind. But once you unlock that and like listen to a couple Alex Hormozi podcasts, then you'll be there. But like once you switch to optimizing for work instead of optimizing for the goal, then I think discipline just becomes like the byproduct and it becomes a lot easier. How did you learn funnels? Yeah, so I just learned funnels by building them. So I signed clients that needed funnels and that's how I learned them. I would literally get a client like I'm talking like early summer last year, that needed a webinar funnel or needed a opt-in funnel or a lead magnet funnel or a call booking funnel. And like, they would be like, hey, do you know how to do this? And I'd be like, yeah, no problem. And they would close, they'd pay me like 3-4K. And then I'd get off the call and I would go and I would watch a YouTube video, how to build XYZ funnel. Or like a lot of it as well is like, as soon as I got my first CRM account, I think in like April, maybe. And I just started building stuff and I just started looking. I would go through a like YouTube channel. I would find YouTube channels of people that were either in a similar industry to my client, or I would go into my own, the people that were in my own industry, look at their funnel, and I would just like click through it and then I would just copy it. Funnels aren't like complicated. The simpler the funnel, typically the better it performs. But I would study, like, if I'm building a funnel for an info product, I would study people like, I looked at a lot at KJ Rainey's funnel, Tyson 4D, Iman Gadzhi. I really like this guy, Brian Moncada's funnel. I like the way he puts his case studies up there. I think it's very simple, easy to read. And then I also just like studied like Cashvertising, the classic copywriting books. So like there's a few different like data sets and like really interesting fun facts in that book. Like, for example, black text on a white background is 40% easier to read. So that's good to know. I still build funnels on like dark mode with like a black background, white text, because I think it looks aesthetic. But it's good to know that isn't as readable. So people that are just looking at it first glance might not read the full thing. They might click off because it's like going to take them 40% longer to read it. Good to know. So I would study stuff like that. And depending on what I was building, if I was building a funnel for like really cool traffic, I would put it on a white background with black text. If I'm building a funnel for warm traffic where like the aesthetic and the brand means more, then I would do the dark theme or whatever. It depends on like who you're building it for. I'm kind of talking about the funnels I built for myself. But yeah, I literally just would go into GHL all the time and like build funnels for myself, for clients. But I usually signed a client before knowing how to deliver whatever it was that I was delivering. That was like at the beginning of my copywriting journey. And I just learned in the process. And like I would spend like I would stay up till like 4 a.m. some nights writing for people because I wasn't that good in the beginning at copywriting. I wasn't that good at building funnels, but I refused to give my clients like poor quality work. And so I would work so hard. I hired coaches. I would make sure that copy was going to perform. I'd split test with my own email list. Like I would send out emails to my email list, totally different target market than any of my clients. And yeah, I would just like spend the extra time to make sure that it's good quality. So that's how I learned funnels. Yeah. I don't know if light mode is going to become like a trend or anything, but that book was written so long ago, like decades ago. And I just saw that and I thought it was really interesting because like, if you look on most funnels right now, I think a lot of them use dark mode. So I think it's interesting. I think it's something that you should probably be aware of for cold traffic. Warm traffic, I don't think it matters as much. Yeah, so just changed my landing page for cold traffic to dark theme from a white theme. Honestly, you should test that. I don't know what CRM you're using, because like that would be really interesting to test. And like, just like, I know in GHL you can do a split test and just see which one performs better. I would test that because it might not be different. It might just depend on the audience. And also like you've got to test everything. You've got to split test it because it's different for every industry. Yeah, if you're in GHL, just go duplicate your funnel, put it in the split test, change everything to light mode, have the other split test be dark mode, and just see what the data says. Like, I can tell you a bunch of theories and stuff, but like the numbers don't lie. So you have to go in there and actually see what are people clicking on. It might not make a difference, but like I would bet that there's a slight difference in performance. The same as like if you were to like change a thumbnail, like on YouTube, like there's a slight difference. I had a thumbnail running for my last video with a green background versus the one I have now with a red background. And I kind of knew how that would play out because like red is also known as like a higher converting CTA color. And sure enough, it outperformed by like 10%. So nothing crazy, but yeah. Yeah, I feel like it looks more professional in the dark theme as well. But yeah, you got to optimize for what actually gets sales, right? So cool. What niche, sub-niche am I targeting? Yeah, I only work with people in the info space. So I'm optimizing to work with people that are typically doing 50K a month and above. And like that's just because I charge very high ticket. But I do work with people that are brand new, like just launching an info product. If they have experience in business and like a following outside of school or outside of like whatever platform they're using, and that's just because like the proof of concept is there. So I won't work with people that don't have proof of concept because I can't guarantee anyone results, but especially not if there's no proof of concept. But yeah, like same as you. Generally, it's like coaches, consultants. Yeah, I think I'm not targeting founder entrepreneurs at all. I think it's really interesting to work with people that are very experienced in business, but not experienced in info. So entrepreneurs that have like, exited businesses, or they're doing like $1 million a year in like something very traditional. Like maybe they do real estate. I've worked with a lot of people in real estate to help them like launch their school community. And it's really cool because like they have all this expertise, but they just don't know how to teach it. So then they also have the budget, right? Like they understand what an investment means. They understand like it's going to cost money. But yeah, that's like one of my favorite niches. Do you take the Kaizen continuous improvement approach for your work? I'm not familiar with that, but I do read constantly, and I do read other people's copy. I'm subscribed to like a bunch of newsletters, and I'm still in like coaching communities myself. So I still pay for coaching. So I would say, based on what that sounds like, continuous improvement, I would say yes. I think life would suck if you just stopped improving. Like, I don't have a goal in business. I think the goal is just to continue to do business and get better. So there's not a point where I'm going to be like, okay, I have to stop learning now because I've reached like the peak, because that's what people in a job do. That's like when you retire, and then like people just die after retirement because they get so bored. So that wouldn't be me. I think I'm going to work until the day I die. So that kind of comes with improvement. Like you want to improve constantly. You want to be learning constantly. And we're also in such an interesting time to be alive right now. Like I'm a copywriter, but in my spare time, I am learning a ton about AI agents, AI automations, how to basically build a business that doesn't need employees, that doesn't need a bunch of people to outsource to, because all of the systems and the internal processes are run by AI. So that's what I'm spending a lot of my time, just like internally, just like a little peek into what I do in my free time. It's like, I want to learn about AI. I want to learn how to build agents. And yeah, I think that's really interesting. I also write for people in the AI niche, so it makes it easier. I make softwares and extensions and plugins. What are your problems at copywriting? I'm not sure what that question means. What do you mean, Musa? Any niche in info? Yeah, like, oh, I see what you mean. Like, yeah, I work with people that are in the fitness space and people that are in the make money niche. I don't really like working with people that are like, I don't know, like dating coaches or improve your confidence or become your best self. Like those niches suck, and like they're really hard to write for, and they're really hard to make money for. So I work with niches that I know I can make money for, and that's like health and fitness and make money. So yeah, I think that answers your question as well, Aaron. Like health and fitness is absolutely a good niche. The thing you want to look for with health and fitness is like, do they have a following? And if not, are they willing to post a ton of content? That goes for every niche, but especially with like health and fitness, it's very competitive, and like the type of content you're willing to post is going to determine whether you can be successful or not. Like business, you can just make talking head content, but like health and fitness, you need to be willing to like make workout videos, or maybe make meal recipe videos. Like you're gonna have to make content that's way more hands-on than the people that are in like the make money niche. So I think that's really good to keep in mind, because there's qualifying questions you need to be asking before you bring somebody on as a client. Yeah, high ticket sales coaches. That's interesting. That's very, very specific. Cool. I'm curious, Musa, have you signed anyone in that niche yet? Are you doing like warm outreach? Are you doing cold outreach? What's your lead gen look like? I don't do any cold emailing. I don't like it. I have like a sour taste around cold emailing, which is probably just me. But I had a client that told me he had a really good email list, that he had like basically hyped it up to be like the best email list in the world. And so I sent an email blast out to it, and then come to find out it was bought. So it was just cold emails. And he's like, oh yeah, sorry. Like none of those people know who I am. So effectively it was just like cold emailing, and it destroyed his domain. Google literally like took it down. So I hate cold emailing, but maybe it's just that. But I also just, like I said at the beginning of this live, if you weren't on, like I don't optimize to just become like a copywriter for the next 30 years. Like I'm optimizing to build really cool relationships with really cool people and eventually like do something besides copywriting, do something bigger. And so I'm prioritizing relationships. And so I only want to work with people that I know well and that trust me and that I trust, that like I actually believe in their offer and I know that I can help them. And I like, that's one of the things I tell people on calls is like, I will not like work with you. I won't let you purchase from me if I'm not 100% confident that I can get you results. And that, like, I mean that genuinely. That's not like a sales tactic. If I don't believe that I can get someone results, if their niche sucks or, you know, they're just like, I don't know, like they don't like making content or whatever, I will not I will not do copy for them. So I don't do cold emailing because I feel like the people that tend to respond to cold emails are kind of desperate. So that's just my experience though. Why not replace the cold emailing with AI automation? Yeah, I just don't do cold emailing, so that's why. Hey, how's it going, Jesse? Good to see you. Jesse is one of my clients, legend. You guys should check out his YouTube. He teaches men how to fix hair loss, which is really cool. AI videos, yeah, it's crazy. I think people are already using AI UGC videos. I see those all the time. The issue with that though is like you can tell right now. You can tell. The problem is like it's hard to convey emotion, and it's hard to, you know, when you like see a UGC video that you're actually interested in the product, you click on that person's account. So if you click on that account and you realize it's AI, automatically like that trust is gone. So yeah, I think like targeting boomers with that makes sense, but I don't know. There's something about it, like even once they fix it to make it like almost impossible to detect AI from humans, I think it's going to be really hard to like build that. Like I think it's going to become so like cool to have real UGC videos, because then all of a sudden everyone's so saturated with like AI that UGC with like real people is way more like trustworthy. I don't know. Yeah, can you prefer any platforms which have no more competition for getting clients in SEO? I'm not super familiar with SEO, I'll be honest. Like I know what it is, but I don't like sell it as a service. I would say LinkedIn though. Like LinkedIn's really good, and I don't think a lot of people use it because it's just like professionals on there. So there's business owners, there's people in like, you know, that are working professional jobs, 9 to 5s. So I think like that's probably like a pretty good platform there. Yeah, maybe Twitter as well. You can repurpose your LinkedIn content for Twitter if you're like creating content and just educating people about SEO. I think that'd be really interesting because people can just go read your posts, learn a bunch about it, and basically you establish yourself as the authority, and then they're either going to want to like get coached by you or they're going to want to buy your product. So that's cool. As a copywriter, what's one problem or challenge you're currently facing? I'm developing my problem solving skills using different tools, plugins, and softwares. Love to know. As a copywriter, what's one problem you're currently facing? I would say like the same things that like it's nothing niche specific to copywriting. It's just like probably like prioritizing high value tasks, like, and then delegating the other ones, right? Like I think making YouTube content is really like high leverage, but I do not prioritize it. I just tend to like focus on like the done for you work, so I really enjoy it. And now I'm starting to do a bit more like client acquisition, scaling up again. So yeah, I wish I had a better answer for that one, but it's kind of the same problems you always face. It's just like how do I optimize each of these workflows? And there's always new workflows. So I would say like systematizing things and like the back end of my business and systematizing some things with like just like workflows, AI, delegation, all that. Yes, I do copywriting as a service. Yeah. Outreach. Yeah, I can't really help you with cold outreach because I don't do it. So I would look to Alex Hormozi for that. I'm not going to teach something I don't do. But it's always a numbers game. How long does it take to be better than AI? Probably like depends on how much copy you're writing per day. Like you can also like AI just like without prompting doesn't write good copy. It writes really bad copy. But if you know how to prompt it, you can get it to write some pretty human sounding copy. And then there's like a ceiling to that. So like if you know how to actually write copy well, like every single time you're going to be better than AI. You should only use AI for like researching and like maybe like finding like information that you can include in the email, maybe giving you some like edits based on like I'll send an email into AI and ask it to like flag any words that are going to like damage the email's deliverability. But yeah, I don't think it takes much to be better than AI. Like maybe a month if you're writing like a good amount every day. Do you have a go-to email cadence for clients? Go-to types of emails, pure value? Depends on the client. Depends on the list. So what I do with email strategies, let me pin this question. It's a good question. What I like to do with emails is I like to segment the list. So like Max Pearson, for example, is a client of mine. He's got people that have never bought from him. He's got people that are current clients of his. He's got people that have churned, and he's got people that don't even really know too much about his product. And so like, and then there's like the people that are not responding or opening any emails. So you want to make sure you're optimizing every piece of content for the person it's going to. That's going to get you just better open rates. It's going to make your domain health better. It's going to just like help you in every way. So, and you're going to get way better click-through rates because you're actually sending people what they want to hear. So like for his like warm audience that hasn't bought yet, we send 2 emails a week. And then we also do 2 blasts through school. For people that are already current clients that we're upselling, we only do 1 pitch per week, but we send them value emails. So we do 2 value emails to them. One of them has a YouTube CTA, so that's just value. But yeah. And then like it's just a mix of different platforms as well. So like we're doing CTAs on Instagram stories. And we're just kind of like making sure all of the content across every platform he's marketing on is like it all links together. It all sounds like him. It's all targeting the people the same way. It's using the same angles, using the same CTAs, stuff like that. But it depends on the segment of the list you're writing to. Like if you're writing to a segment of the list that hasn't responded or opened emails in 90 days, that's like a last ditch effort to get those people involved and get them like actually responding. So those emails are going to be way shorter. They're going to look way different. There's going to be no CTA except respond to this email or click this link to show me that you're interested in receiving more. So that's a very different kind of strategy than like writing to a warm list, right? Like a warm list, they already know your product. They probably have some trust in you. You give them some value, and then you have a CTA that should only be get more value. So like whatever you talked about in your email, let's say you're talking about a YouTube strategy. It's like, okay, do you want to plug this YouTube strategy into your business and get the same step-by-step process that I've used to generate $2 million or $5 million or whatever? Then you just like have a book a call CTA. It's like, then click here and book your free call. We'll walk you through the whole strategy step by step. You know, it just has to make sense with email. But I tend to lean towards like soft CTAs as opposed to like a really strong CTA because the cadence is like high enough that we're pitching multiple times a week. I have had clients where it's just pure value emails, which yeah, those also work, but you want to make sure there's like a purpose behind them. Like I do think like there's a oversaturation of like value emails that aren't really unique. So it's like if you're going to send like a value email, it needs to be something they haven't heard before. It needs to be something different. It needs to be something actionable. So yeah, those are like the main things that like I use to decide what email I'm writing. I try and include value in every single email though. So you solve a problem that leads to the next problem that then the CTA solves. That's how you should look at it. And yeah, the email should be totally contingent on who it's going to, so you can make sure you actually know what problem they have. What are your thoughts about coaches who only have a Calendly link in their bio, no funnel or email marketing? I think that like they're probably missing out on leads. Like if they don't have any kind of opt-in form, I know coaches that do this, and like if you're getting calls booked doing that, then it makes sense. Like one of my first mentors did that, and I think he still does it, and he's got a lot of followers. And yeah, I would imagine like his team gets a lot of unqualified calls, but maybe he's got a question system in place where he's like deleting calls. But I think he's optimizing for quantity, and then potentially he's collecting their information some other way. But like, yeah, like you do get their email when they sign up for a call, don't you? You have to through Calendly. So maybe you do collect their email. But I used to do that. I think for coaches, if you're getting started, it does eliminate a little bit of friction. It also means you're going to take more calls because you're going to take unqualified calls. You're not going to be able to like filter people out as much. So I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it does eliminate some friction, but it also means you don't capture as many leads. So that's what I would say to that. Hey Mario, how's it going? How should we go about changing the paradigm of our leads in order to make them sold on us before getting on the call? You should just give them a lot of free value. So maybe when they sign up for like a call, for example, I signed up for a call with Alex from Ozzy's team. So I was just on a sales call with his team about an hour ago. And before that call, they sent me a video that was like filmed by Alex only for people that had specifically booked that call. And that was like good because it was just like a 5-minute video that gave me like the kind of rundown of what to expect on that call. But I think most of the trust was built in the fact that like Alex has thousands of hours of content. So like that video probably didn't make a huge difference. I think if you have a lot of content and people are booking through organic content, there's a lot more trust. I think if they're booking through like a cold funnel, like I'd love to know what funnel this is, because if they're booking through a cold funnel, it's a little bit different. You want to have a video as soon as they book on the thank you page that basically is like thanking them for booking, getting them excited for the call, and making some kind of like a promise to them about what's going to happen on that call. Maybe even promising like a bonus when they do attend. That would be cool. But yeah, like it's slightly different for cold leads because you need to give them something up front. You need to reassure them. Do you think school is one of the best places to host a community, to make money, even if it's a group about entertainment? Yeah, actually I do. And I think that there's a lot of platforms right now that are good for info. Like I think WAP has some really cool features. I think that there's like some other cool platforms when it comes to community. Like there's no doubt like school is by far the best. They just have like the simplest product to use. Like it's optimized for community. That's what Sam wants. He wants everyone to be able to build communities. He wants like 1 billion communities or 1 billion users at least. So yeah, 100%. It's the best place to build a community, especially like if you like know like some of the new features coming out with like the live streaming, the video recording, all of that stuff is just like making it a better and better place to like connect with your members. And the other thing is like if you start a free community, you're basically just like building an email list on steroids. So it's just like, yeah, it's such a good place to nurture leads because you've got their emails, so you can send email blasts. You got like DM access to them, so you can talk to them in DMs and like see what their problems are, really get to know them. You can post and read their posts and comment, and you can go live with them. You can get on live calls and like get to know who your audience is. So I think like having a free community, you sure charge it costs $99 a month. That is so worth it. And then you can also just blast. Let's say you don't even want to have a CRM. I have a friend of mine who just started a business and he's like, I'm not getting a CRM. I'm just using School, because you can blast out emails like 3 times a week through School. Is that right? It's like 3 times or once every 72 hours, so a little bit less. But once every 72 hours, you can blast out a post as an email. And what's really cool is the open rate on average. Sam shared this on a recent School News podcast or YouTube video, and it's like 70% plus. So anyone on this call that's a copywriter knows that that is insane, because typical open rates is like 25%, like industry. So yeah, that is really, really good to know. Like 70+%, you literally could just like blast out posts on School and like reach your audience that way. But yeah. So yeah, I do think School is one of the best places. How often do you do these? I'm really bad. I haven't been replacing these pinned comments. Yeah, I don't really do lives. This is my first time going live on YouTube, which is like funny because that's why I literally like couldn't figure out how to go live for the first 5 minutes. I appreciate everyone who stuck around because I was struggling to figure out how to even go live. I've never done this before. I do go live in my my bigger community, but not very often, maybe like once every couple months. But I think I'm going to do it more just because it's fun. I don't like coach anymore, so there's not like a pitch, unless there's somebody on here with a community. Obviously, then like we could work together, but there's no pitch. Like this is just because it's fun. I'm a freelance therapist and copywriter. Would love to work with you. I can help with writing. Cool. Yeah, I don't need anybody right now, but super cool. I think what would actually be good for you is like get a bunch of clients and do what Jamie's done. Jamie's got a really cool portfolio, and do that, and then you can literally like just share that with people and show them what you've done. So get a couple clients on your own, because you might find that you actually want to do it on your own. Like I had a copywriter I was working with, and we realized like halfway through we'd both make more money if we were just doing it on our own, because we could just basically double the amount of like content we were creating. So yeah, I would do that first. I would get a couple clients yourself and then decide if you want to work with somebody. But at the moment, I'm not bringing anyone on the team. So I have no idea, George, why this came into your recommendation. This is a copywriting channel, so it's all about marketing. Don't know if that's something you do. Do you know if the live stream will be accessible to more than just a? Yeah. I think I'm just gonna do it through YouTube. So I'm not sure what your name is, Life Appreciation, but I think I'm just gonna do the live stream through this channel. So yeah, if you follow this channel, I'll also post it in my community. So I think you're in there. I recognize your profile picture, so I think you're in there. But yeah, I'll put it in there as well, so you can see it in the calendar. But yeah, I'll probably do this like maybe once a week, but it might be every other week. So no promises. Yeah, I get a lot of DMs, Musa. I get a lot of DMs about video editing, about thumbnails, about copywriting, about ads, about scaling, about working with me. And I'll be honest, like I just don't need any of those things right now. So if I haven't opened your DM, I'm sorry, it's probably lost in the DMs I've gotten. I do try and respond to those, but it also could be that it's just not something I need right now. So I manage my account, so it would be me seeing it. But yeah, I just don't need anything like that right now. Oh, that's cool, George. Oh, that's really cool. So you did marketing for like real businesses. That's super cool. Edward Baker, why did I choose copywriting over everything else? I kind of just stumbled across it. So it wasn't something it's kind of a funny story. I'll just like give the short version of it, but I always thought copywriters were like they made very little money. And so I was not interested in it. I thought they were just like were like typical freelancers making like 2-3K a month. And so I was not interested in copywriting. And I quit my job last February, joined a 999 community. So I invested like my savings into it. And the coach that was coaching that business community, I was trying to figure out what business to start. And so I joined this community to talk to this coach to try and see if he could help me. And he wound up like shooting me a message like a week after I joined, asking if I knew how to write. Message literally said, "Do you know how to write?" And I had so much respect for this coach who's like had a big following on YouTube and Instagram, and I really like respected him. So I would have said yes. Like even he could have been like, "Do you know how to build a skyscraper?" And I would have been like, "Yeah, I'll figure it out." So I was like, "Yeah, absolutely. I'm a really good writer." I actually started writing a lot more recently. And it's funny, he doesn't know this, but the writing a little bit more recently that I was referring to was like writing in my diary. So I was not at all qualified to be a copywriter. I had never done any kind of like marketing writing, but I had run an e-commerce business and I'd done some social media. So I knew like a little bit about it, but really I didn't know what I was doing. So I did a bunch of research after, and he basically pitched me. He's like, "I'll pay you 2K to write XYZ." It was like a lead magnet, and then he wanted a book. So I was like, okay, 2K, like this is amazing. I'm going to do it. And I did a bunch of research and I started writing for him. I wound up writing 200 pages in 30 days and making 2K, which is insane. I would probably charge like 20K for that now or 30K for that. But yeah, it was insane. And I was still, after writing that, like, oh no, I don't want to be a copywriter because like that was a lot of work. And I think I can make more money as like a community owner or whatever. And yeah, then came April, I started a school community with a business partner. I wound up losing money. So I wound up losing like $1,400. The community was an absolute fail. We were trying to teach people how to fix procrastination, which is just like, if you think about that niche is the worst kind of niche to market to because they're not going to be making buying decisions. They're going to be procrastinating. So lost money on that. And I was so mad this was actually May. I was so mad at the end of May that I was just like, I'm going to do copywriting because I've been telling everyone that like I was a copywriter. I did copywriting for this guy and I know I can make money because I made $2,000 already. So I'm just going to reach out to everyone that I did a podcast with and I'm going to just pitch all of them. And I did. And I wrote really good outreach to my warm network and I signed like 10K worth of clients in the first month. And that was kind of when it clicked because I had just done it because I was mad and I wanted to move out. I was living like at my parents' house at the time and I wanted to like go travel. And so I just did copywriting kind of like because I wanted to move out. And it wound up making me 10K like the first month I went all in. And I was like, okay, cool. Like I'm going to all these business events. I'm like doing these podcasts. I'm connecting with entrepreneurs. I could probably scale this. Like I could probably keep doing this, keep meeting people. And yeah, and that's how it happened. And then August, I went for the school games. Excuse me. I was doing like a mix though. I was doing like a mix of copywriting and a mix of coaching. So when I won the school games, I did 30K that month. And then I pivoted to just doing copywriting, no coaching. But yeah, like when I shut down my coaching, I was charging like $3K a month. And that was mostly like people outreaching to me. So it was like I probably could have scaled the coaching way more easily because like if you think about it, all you have to do is like do group calls and coach people and like teach them what you did. It's a lot easier than actually doing the thing. It's just coaching the thing. But I just didn't want to do that for like a few reasons, just because it didn't feel authentic and I couldn't like guarantee results. Whereas if I write the copy, I can guarantee that it's good. So yeah, that's why I switched, and then I went all in with that. Signed some really big clients. Yeah, the school games did accelerate it for sure. Like, let me pin that comment. I won the school games in August, but that was like when I first went all in with the done for you copywriting. And then I just like, yeah, I went all in. I started working with like school games winners exclusively. Scaled to like 40K in November and then like 50, 60K January. And it just, yeah, like it just made sense, honestly. And that was why I like outsourced a lot at the start. I outsourced a lot to a team around that time. Like December, I hired my first like team member in the fall. But I've kind of taken it more in-house now. So like instead, yeah, 50K just in January. Yeah, it was a really good month. But yeah, I've taken things more in-house now. And instead of like having people on my team, I delegate it to like freelancers that I know really well. So I like to work with other entrepreneurs as opposed to having employees on my team. So that's like one change I've made. It's definitely harder to scale to 50K with like if you're doing it all on your own. But I think in this day and age with the internet and with all the different like tools and systems out there, you could definitely do it without anyone on your team. You could teach funnel stuff like Alicia Marcos did in there. Yeah, I don't know who Alicia Marcos is, but I just don't really want to teach right now. Like I like this because this is just like we're just live and this is just like fun and it's free. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of like, oh, Alicia Joseph. Yeah, I actually don't even know anything about her product. She's really cool though. I've done a podcast with her. I'm in like the UK right now, so I'm probably gonna see her again. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of coaching because the people you meet when you're actually copywriting are just really cool. So I like to put all of my focus on one offer. If I could do both, which I did at one point, like maybe I would, but the issue with that is like you're going to be mediocre at both. You're not going to be like really good at both. So I would rather be like the best copywriter, work with the highest level clients. Like, if you could work with people like Alex Hormozi, what kind of rooms does that put you in? Like I'm working with Max Pearson right now. And like, just that alone is like teaching me so much about like, just the way these kind of entrepreneurs think. So I always optimize for that. I'm more about the relationships, and the relationships with like my clients are like really, really cool. So I think the copywriting route has a ceiling for sure, which is why I'm not going to do it forever. But I mean, like, then again, it's like everything's unscalable until you make it scalable, right? Like I could 100% create enough systems and hire the right people to scale this thing like to $1 million a month. I have no doubt about that. I don't know if I want to. Like I'm probably going to like get to 6 figures a month this year and then decide what I want to do. But I'll definitely keep doing like marketing. I just might do more like consulting. I don't know. Like many others have got ambitions of multiple 6, 7, 8 figures per year, big businesses, but have no experience yet in anything. It's a good choice, or is there something better? Is there something better? I don't know. I've only done a handful of things. So maybe AI is better. I don't know. I think that at the end of the day, you're going to have to go through the same amount of work, whatever you choose. So I just fundamentally believe that like success requires a certain amount of work, and it doesn't really matter what industry you're in. You just have to find something and stick with it. I think having a service-based offer though, whether it's like copywriting or there's a handful of other things like media buying or whatever, I think having a service-based offer is the best thing to start with because you can like, it's just like guaranteed. Like you can get clients and it's like, there's a proven, assuming you're in a good, like you're solving something that you've actually seen people ask for and you see there's competition and there's competitors in that niche, then you have a proven offer. And that's like way easier to sell than like, I don't know, coming up with an invention or a coaching offer that isn't actually like something people want. So yeah, outreaching to prospects on Instagram might be good. I don't know. I don't do cold outreach. So yeah, I think, how would you go about outreach if you lived in a non-English country? I also don't know that because I don't live in a non-English country. So I don't really teach things I don't know. But I think you need to make sure your conversational English is really, really good if you want to do copywriting and English isn't your first language. Like I have worked with someone who like Spanish was her first language. And she was very good because she lived in English speaking countries as a kid and she learned conversational English really well. She watched a lot of English TV as well. And so her copywriting got very good. But there's still some like differences in the way she wrote. And so sometimes there's an argument to say like write copy for someone that speaks your language because there is probably a few really, really successful entrepreneurs in the info space that are in your language that maybe you could write better copy for them. But that's one thing you want to know. You want to know how to write conversationally in whatever language you write in. And ideally, if you want to get clients, like meet them in like live masterminds, either in person or on Zoom, and talk to them and build relationships. I can't teach you how to do outreach because I've never done it. Never done cold outreach. I've only done warm outreach with people that I've actually had real life conversations with, either had on my podcast, met in person, or there's a couple people that like I met through mastermind calls, like group calls. So that works as well. Let me pin this next one. Great question, Jamie. Yeah. So when I was starting out with my first clients, how did you get them good results? Yeah, I just basically like would study every single person in their niche. I would study the copy. So like I remember one of my first clients, he was like a real estate transactional lender. And as soon as I signed him as a client, I went and I watched his entire course, just like 4 hours in one day. And I like memorized his offer and I got to know his audience and I tested a bunch of stuff and I looked at like other things people had written. And so like that was the biggest thing to me because I didn't want to like burn relationships, right? Like that's what I've been saying this whole time is like relationships are everything. So I do a lot of research and I just spent a lot of time writing. Like there is a month where I think I only left my house like 3 times to like go for a walk. I remember like the month after the school games, and this is probably not super relatable, but it was the month of September and I just signed 30 to 40, I think it was like 35 clients. I had 50 people total in my community. Some of them were coaching students, 35 people that were done for you clients. And I literally didn't leave my house. Like I was living in California, so I didn't really know anyone there. And I remember calling my mom one day because I'd gone for a walk and I felt so guilty. And I was like, I just feel so guilty. Like I have so much work to do and I can't do anything. And all my food, I just got it like delivered because I didn't even have time to like go buy food. So I was doing that because I wanted to get them good results and because I wanted to do enough due diligence on every single client to make sure that when I wrote their copy, I sounded like them. So yeah, I did get really good results. That was like what I leveraged in the actual outreach I did was like, I was getting 50+% email open rates. At the time, I didn't even really know that was like good. I thought that was kind of like average. But one of my entrepreneur friends was like, oh, wow, that's really good. You got like 56% open rate on this email. That's like to thousands of people. That's really good. And I was like, cool. Okay. So yeah, I did get pretty good results for those people. And then like within 6 months, I'd helped multiple people win the school games, won the school games myself. So I think it was more so about the fact that like, it wasn't that I was talented at it. It was just that I was like really committed to working hard. So I kind of just like outworked like the lack of talent, and I was around entrepreneurs. So I asked questions all the time. I was still paying like $1,000 a month to be in this like community of coaches and entrepreneurs. So like I literally would show them copy and ask them, is this good? Is this subject line good? And I would study that and I would pay for mentorship. So I was basically just reinvesting a lot in the first few months into coaching to make sure I was doing well. So yeah. Martin, I didn't really like start with one thing. Like I think every client I signed had like a couple things they wanted. So some people wanted emails, some people wanted help with their website, some people wanted help with like YouTube content. So right away, I think I just like was doing multiple things because every time I would sign a client, I was like getting something new. So I didn't really have time to become a master of one thing. I was just like, I need to master copywriting. That's the thing. And then I would apply that to everywhere that it was relevant. And so if I signed a client and they need a landing page, I built a landing page. And if I signed a client and they needed ads, I wrote ads. And like ultimately, copywriting is copywriting. Like you have to make it shorter and longer and different types of hook styles depending on the platform. But like at the end of the day, it's the same frameworks. It's the same kind of thing. You just have to know how to convey the value of an offer in a way that makes people actually want to take action. So yeah, I didn't start with just doing emails or just doing landing pages. I definitely do emails more than anything else, but I also do a lot of landing pages, webinars, funnels, stuff like that. So, Edward Baker, I'm not sure what you mean by that. Is your school zero knowledge, or is it assuming some basis? This stream alone is pretty cool. Not sure what you mean, but glad you think the stream is pretty cool. That's good to hear. Amos, let me pin your comment. What did your copywriting portfolio look like when you're starting? Any tips? I never really got asked for a portfolio. I had one person, I think, ask me for a portfolio, and then I just whipped it up that day. Like, I was not overly prepared. I'll say that. But yeah, I would just basically go off word of mouth referrals. So I think when I did have somebody ask for a portfolio, I put like a few emails that I'd written. I put like email open rates and data from like the few clients I'd had, but like I didn't really have a lot of data, to be honest. And then like as I progressed, like everyone that signed with me just kind of knew who I was, either through organic content or through other people that I'd worked with. So it wasn't something where I necessarily had to prove I was good. I remember the one time like somebody was like, well, how do I know if you're good? Like, it's just your word against mine. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to work with you. That was it. Like, I'm just not going to prove that I'm good when I've already like helped people win the school games and won the school games myself. But I guess your question is kind of before that. And I like the answer to that is I just didn't really have people ask for a portfolio. So the closest thing I had to a portfolio was a Google Drive with some emails and an example sales page. And what I found was that the one person or two people that asked for that didn't wind up working with me because they already had enough doubts in my ability that they're asking for proof. But if you're doing cold outreach, you do need a portfolio. So I'm not going to speak on that because I don't do that. So can you talk about optimization of emails? Yeah, this is my favorite thing. So a couple things. Number one, your list matters. You want to have a segmented list. So you want to have the data on who's opening your emails. Do not be just like blasting emails out to people that haven't opened your emails in 90 days. You want to be like really optimizing the subjects of your email. Like, don't just send an email that's like last chance discount or whatever. It's going to go to spam because it's like got all of those flag words in it and it's cliche. And so if you send emails out with bad subjects to bad leads and Google sees that they're not getting in their inbox or they're not getting opened, they're going to start putting you in spam. So you want to make sure you're sending emails to good leads that are active on your email list. And then you want to make sure you're sending them with like good subject lines that are actually like appealing to open. And then I guess the last thing is you want to put it through a spam checker. So there's this free website I use. I'll put it in the chat. I think this is the URL. It's like meteormail.com, I think that's it. But if you just search up like spam checker for emails, like email spam checker, it's just like this website that you can copy paste your email text into, and it will flag the words that are bad, and it will give you like a health score on your email. And you basically just want to like find substitutes for the words that are bad. So like, for example, the word free is going to like get flagged every time. Dollar signs get flagged. Buy now gets flagged for understandable reasons. The word sales gets flagged. So no, it's not all in the subject line. It's like in the list, segments of the list, the subject line, and the actual content of the email. So all three of those things. So yeah, that's how you avoid going to spam, and constantly check the health of your email list. Like, remove people that are not active constantly, and make sure, like, if you've got different audiences, like you've got people that have found you through YouTube organic, you've got people that have bought from you, or people that have opted in through something else, like you probably want to send them different kinds of emails because they probably know you in a different light or a different context. So just make sure your emails are targeted towards the people, and you'll get way better open rates, and then your email health will be way better. So yeah. Yeah. Oh, Edward, I see your question. So does capitalists assume I've been doing copywriting? No, it's kind of like beginner level, but I'll be honest, like I don't really do coaching anymore. So that community, the benefit of that is like the community itself. And Musa, I don't have an email list either. I just email to the people that are in my community. So I'm considering starting a newsletter though. So if I do start a newsletter, it will be linked below my YouTube videos because I do think that's a good idea. And also, like, I love writing, so why not? But I just haven't set it up yet. So I just have to set up my domain properly. Like, I have the domain and everything, but I need to warm it up, and yeah, then I'll have it all going. But Right now, I just send content to the people that are in my capitalist community. There is content in there about like how to start your copywriting journey, how to get clients, how to do all that. And then obviously people post sometimes and like ask questions and tag me. But yeah, like the community is like now more geared towards people that own communities, if that makes sense, because that's my target market. Because I don't do coaching, like I said, I do like optimize for just like signing clients. So that's why that's kind of changed. Can't you just use an advanced chatbot like GPT to do the copywriting? You can, but it's going to sound like everybody else's copywriting and it's not going to perform as well. But you absolutely can use ChatGPT to like do research for you, outline copy, maybe even write a draft of the email, but then you rewrite it. The issue ChatGPT has is in relating to people. It can't relate to people and it can't paint like visuals in an email. And that's really important for copy, is to like be able to make people, like, you want your audience to be watching a movie in their head when they're reading your email. And AI just doesn't seem to be able to do that. I've never been able to see it like actually create a picture in my mind. Like it'll say really generic things like picture this, or but that's not all. And it's like people recognize those trends. And even if it's like subconscious, they know that they're about to get pitched to. So it just doesn't sound human. But yeah. That's so cool. You started a perfume brand. I'm going to pin this. Started a perfume brand, not that popular, just a school project. I set up a stall at my school and got a sale of $200 and $50 profit. I still have some stock left. Where do I sell it and how? Oh, that's so cool. Maybe Etsy, maybe eBay, maybe Amazon, maybe you start your own little Shopify shop. But I would say like the best way to market it would be like create content. I'm not like an expert on e-commerce, but I have one friend who has scaled a clothing brand really well, and he started it with like no momentum, was making no sales. He also was like in school. And he basically just started posting like TikTok content and went viral during COVID. And that's the whole source of traffic to his clothing brand. And now, like, I think he probably runs retargeting ads now. I think he does do some ads, and he does SMS marketing and email marketing. So he built all of that momentum though with like just content on TikTok. So that's an idea. Maybe make short form content. I don't normally recommend that, but it would be interesting. Do you have videos? Yeah, I have a video literally called, this question is, do you have videos on school funnels? The answer is yes. I have a video titled The Ultimate School Funnel. So how do I deal with imposter syndrome even though I have some experience in copywriting compared to someone new? Just get results. You're going to feel like an imposter until you're not. Like, yeah, like fundamentally, there's nothing in copywriting that's that hard. That's the thing. Like, that's the thing with everything in business. Is like, there's people that have like half the IQ that you do. There's people that are like not special, that are making millions of dollars per month. It does not require. In fact, I think it's harder for really smart people to be successful because they overcomplicate it, because it's actually so simple. So if you think like, oh, I'm not good enough to write XYZ's email, like, they probably have people even dumber than you that have done it. So like, just keep in mind that like, if other people can do it, if the general public can do it, then you can do it, because the general public's IQ is like 80. So if you can look at them and just like be like, yeah, they can figure it out, then I know I can. You're confident enough in yourself, like you won't have the imposter syndrome. To make my first 10K, well, there's like two answers to that. I started my first business at like 19, which was like a total fail, but I didn't actually start pursuing copywriting until May of last year, and I made 10K in June. So it's like, one argument, you could say it took me 3 years because I started my first business as a teenager and it took me till 22 to make 10K. But I actually started pursuing copywriting seriously at 22, and I made 10K the next month. 100K, let's see, what would that be? That would be like November, I guess, November, December. So yeah, that was like 6 months, I guess. 6 months, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. Yeah, 6 months. 6 months to get to 100K. Or maybe 5 months. It was 6 months to December. So yeah, 5 months to November. Do you know if copywriting is worth doing in India? It doesn't matter where you are. Like, it just matters how well you can speak the language that you're copywriting in. So if you're copywriting in your local language, then like go for it. If you want to copyright, if you want to do copywriting in English, you want to know how to speak really, really good conversational English. I have no opinion on drop shipping in 2025 because I haven't done it. So I just will not speak on anything I haven't done. But I don't do it. So there's that. I think ultimately, like, you can be successful in just about any industry, but it's more the fact that, like, people don't stick with one thing. And so to be successful, you have to do the same thing for like 6 months and not be focused on the end result. So like, you could probably crush it in drop shipping, in SMMA, in copywriting, in coaching, community building, whatever the heck you want to do. But like, you're going to have to stick to it even when you're not successful for a while before you're going to see the return. So that's the thing. I do have to go though. I've got to go to the gym before it gets dark here in the UK. So I'm going to let you guys go, but I will definitely be doing this again because this is super fun. And you guys have really great questions. So yeah, I will see you guys hopefully like a week or potentially 2 weeks. But yeah, also like, feel free, just like comment questions either on a YouTube video or comment questions in my community, and I will talk to you guys there. Have a good rest of your day.